morning, Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are switching gears now away from Carnival and into the environment. And of course, to talk about this is one of our NGOs here this morning, Environment Tobago. And we are being joined by Director Sean McCoon. So good morning and welcome to you, Sean. How are you doing this morning?
Morning, Kandace. Pleasure to be here as always.
Certainly. And Environment Tobago has a list of things that they are hoping to achieve for this year.
Yes, indeed. Now, first of all, before we start off, Environment Tobago is a non-government organization, not-for-profit organization that is focused on advocacy, awareness, and environmental education. So we have had a long-standing history in the secondary school system with the Keep a Clean School program. Many of you may have seen the signs, or your children, or even you yourself may have passed through that project and that system. So that's one of our flagship projects that we would have rolled out in the past 14 years or so, right? Post-pandemic, we have been involved in the Caribbean Tree Planting Project. That is something that we partner with the Caribbean Philanthropic Alliance. That's the Caribbean Tree Planting Project. And every tree that is planted here in Tobago goes towards the regional count of trees planted per year. So that's one of the exciting things that we are involved with, as well as some of our upcoming projects and initiatives, which I would imagine we'll get into in due course.
Certainly. So, and let's start with that tree planting project. Tell me a bit more about it. When is it happening? And, what are you guys hoping to achieve with it?
Right. So, Environment Tobago became the Tobago partner in 2021. The project started in 2020, thereabouts. And coming out of the pandemic, there was a need to understand green space development, to understand the importance of trees and their important role within the natural environment. So that is where that started. So Environment Tobago, being a non-government organization and being part of this ecosystem and this network of NGOs, community-based organizations, and other like-minded environmental organizations, we were invited and approached by the Caribbean Tree Planting Project, which is, as I said, Caribbean Philanthropic Alliance, which is a regional group as well, and Environment Tobago is the Tobago rep. I am actually the tree planting ambassador for Tobago. Last year, our numbers, we clocked, I believe it was 3,700 and something trees. And the year before that, we had roughly about 2,500 trees that went into the ground. So our statistics are quite good, considering our land space and our population size. And I want to say that Tobago is actually the fourth leading tree planting island in the region, or tree planting country in the region per capita. So we are the fourth. We are fourth in terms of the amount of trees planted.
And we can do better.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we intend to do even better this year and surpass all expectations and numbers, etc. So that's some of what we have been up to where the tree planting is concerned. Also, we have engaged with some of the schools and some of the other NGOs that exist on the island, right? We had a tree planting exercise recently, late last year, with Signal Hill Secondary School and the environmental and tourism clubs. That was a nice partnership and synergy. And also we partnered with Mount Irving Bay Hotel. They seem to have a keen interest in maintaining and upkeeping green space because, as we know, the natural environment is part and parcel of what people come to Tobago for. The peaceful, tranquil, green surroundings and so on. And if I may, clean, green and serene. So in order to continue having return visitors to the island who are interested in ecotourism, etc., it's important for us to protect and conserve what it is we have in the natural environment.
And as we're talking about protecting and conserving, we had a situation happen on Sunday where we saw some drifting in the rainforest.
Right.
Now, we
Yes.
had the Tobago Motorsports Association come out and condemn those actions, but from an environmental perspective, tell me why an activity like that is not acceptable.
Right. So you have three impacts that are negative when an activity like that is carried out. One, the noise. The noise affects the birds and also the people who are bird watching, right? All of that loud noise and so on. And you know how these um, these high speed um,
Vehicles, yes.
vehicles can be in terms of the noise levels. So that affects the birds and um, the Main Ridge Forest Reserve is a sensitive ecosystem that is the home to all of these species of birds and insects, etc. And I don't think that's the environment you want to have that sort of noise making in. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
And also the bird watchers being disturbed. We
Mm-hmm.
don't want that, right? Secondly, you have the social impact of it. Again, we spoke about the ecotourism enthusiasts. I don't think people want to be doing a peaceful hike through the forest and they're hearing all of this noise and all of this commotion happening. So it's a bit off-putting and not a good thing for ecotourism product. And also, there are emissions coming out from those vehicles, right? Smoke. The emissions are not good, right? The objective of having a protected green space is to keep all of those emissions out, yes, and to ensure that the oxygenated air it remains.
I mean, we
So
love that air like when you're driving through the rainforest and something
absolutely,
like
it's an
that. It's
oxygen
very
bath. It's
pristine.
very pristine, very invigorating. I remember we had the Main Ridge Forest Run last year. I believe that was well subscribed, and it was something that people appreciated because they were doing a physical activity with non-motorized sport, like the thing that we're talking about that we didn't like, and people were able to keep fit and come out with their families and so on and enjoy the clean, fresh air, the oxygenated air. So those are the things that we would prefer to promote and encourage, if anything at all, in the Main Ridge Forest Reserve.
And we also have World Wetlands Day coming up on Friday.
Right.
And I think the theme for this year, if I remember correctly, is the relationship that we need to have with humanity, wetlands and humanity.
Yes.
I don't know if you, as Environment Tobago, want to say a little bit about that.
Absolutely. Now, we have several wetland areas around the island. We have mangroves, we have wetlands, we have small marshlands, etc. And what we found is that people don't often understand and appreciate the value of these ecosystems until they're gone. Mm-hmm. And that is something that we would like to focus on this year in demonstrating what is the value added to human life and humanity by having these things, right? Now, in case anybody didn't know, mangroves are that natural buffer zone on the coast between the inland regions and the sea or the ocean. So when there's rough seas, when there is coastal erosion, etc., the mangrove actually helps to mitigate against those hazards and all of that. It also serves as an ecosystem that is home to species of birds, fish, etc., and serves also as a spawning ground for fish and other marine life. So when we protect those areas and conserve those areas, you would find that the fisher folk have something to catch, right? Because the cycle, the life cycle and the multiplication of fish and all the other marine life that we rely on for livelihoods, etc., it can continue and it can be sustained. And In terms of sustainable development, it's also something that we can look at, because when you have mangrove ecosystems, that also helps when you have rough seas, coastal erosion, as I mentioned before. And when your land is taken away from you, especially for those of us living on the coast, we are faced with the problem of coastal erosion. And bit by bit, inch by inch, year by year, the land is being eroded. Mangroves actually help to hold the land, hold the soil, and protect from all of that happening.
And that's why we need to protect it. But as we're getting ready to wrap up this morning, I just want to give you a couple minutes just to highlight a couple of things that we might have missed in our conversation this morning.
Right. So Environment Tobago is roughly 27 years old. We are more or less around for quite some time, like one of the grandfathers or grandmothers of civil society in the NGO sector on the island, flying the flag high in terms of environmental awareness, advocacy, education. One of our other things that we intend to roll out this year is institutionalizing as a partnership arrangement with reforestation and a few other partners of the environmental clubs in the secondary schools. And we believe when you get children and students involved from that level, it really inspires the next generation to become stewards of the natural environment, to become stewards of green spaces, to become stewards of sensitive ecosystems within their communities, villages, districts, etc. So we want to raise awareness through the schools, and then also raise or get going a total revolution where children can get involved and really become defenders and protectors of the natural environment. Because without the natural environment, human life may not be sustained.
Yes.
Where would our food come from? Yes?
Yes, certainly. So, I want to thank you so much, Mr. McCoon, for being on with us this morning, for sharing a bit about Environment Tobago, and just for those viewers who are interested in getting involved and being a part of the movement, how can they?
Yes, currently our website is down for maintenance. We're working on that, but you can follow us on Facebook. That's Environment Tobago, that's 2 T's, Environment Tobago. Or you can email us at office@environmenttobago.net. That is our email address. You can send all your inquiries if you wish to get involved. And we actually have a membership program, right, for families, for students, and for people as an individual. You can come on board and become a member and learn more about us and get involved.
Of course. And yes, viewers, and you should, because we've got to do all that we can to protect our Tobago and keep it as beautiful and lovely as we enjoy it. And even as how we
Kandace, you're also a member. You should tell them that. Kandace Jackson is a member of Environment Tobago. So she's doing her part to, really be an advocate for environmental education and awareness, etc. So we're very happy for such
endorsement. Yes, certainly. All right, viewers, well, that's how we're going to have to wrap the show this morning. Thank you for viewing, and I hope you have a safe and wonderful day.